Hello everyone, how's it going? I just wanted to make a quick video comparison on some of the popular devices that we have to choose from lately. The HTC M9, Nexus 6, Galaxy S6 Edge, and Moto X 2014. Up until the S6 and the M9 came out, the Nexus 6 and the Moto X 2014 were my daily drivers. I picked up an S6 Edge and an HTC M9 at exactly the same time, and I've been using them both for about a week. After using a Nexus 6 for so long, I have to say that both of these phones feel very small in my hand. It didn't take long to adjust, and I have to say that the HTC feels a lot better in hand than the S6 Edge. The curved back of the HTC just feels comfortable, while the Edge, for lack of a better way of explaining it, feels like a sharp rectangle in the hand. Coming from stock Android, the first thing that really started to get to me were the notifications. The double tap for Lollipop doesn't work here, and you have this strange single tap and unlock in order to get the application to open up. And although I spent my week with TouchWiz, I was very relieved to move back to the Google Now launcher, although there are some omissions. The first thing I noticed is that there is not always on listening. I'm guessing that the Exynos chip doesn't support it, as the S-Voice app also only has the always on when the screen is illuminated and not when the screen is off like some of the other devices. It's also quite a shock if you're coming from stock Android to open up the app drawer and see all of those apps. I think the thing that really blows my mind is that there are literally 3 app stores on this phone. And what's even more perplexing is that certain apps appear in multiple stores, meaning that you can have updates and you don't know which store updates which app. Comparing that with the much leaner Sense on the HTC M9 is like night and day. And although I do prefer stock Android, I wasn't instantly compelled to download a custom launcher to replace the home screen on the HTC M9. It feels like HTC added onto Lollipop and not completely replaced it. All of the features I like from Lollipop are there, including the wake-up detection from any screen, including when the device is sleeping. The UI feels fast and fluid, and the vertical scrolling app drawer doesn't take a whole lot of time to get used to, even if you're accustomed to a horizontal scrolling one. The curved back of the M9 definitely feels reminiscent of the curved back of the Nexus 6, and they have a very similar feel in hand, although the HTC is much smaller. The screens on both of these devices are great, and for the most part, navigating around the UI feels remarkably similar. I don't much care for HTC's implementation of the multitasking key as much as I do the Rolodex style of Lollipop on most other devices. It feels a tad clunky for me, and even though I can technically see more cards on it, I just don't feel like it's as easy to use and effortless to use as it is on stock Lollipop. I've also come to the realization that having a notification light doesn't matter to me as much as it used to, and I much prefer the ambient display of the Moto X and Nexus 6. After having a device with this feature, I found myself wishing that the Galaxy had something similar whenever you tap the screen or pick up the phone, other than a light and a feature that you can turn on that vibrates the phone. I do, however, really like the fingerprint sensor, and it definitely works just as well as all of the reviews said it does. It is worth mentioning, however, that if you pick up a Galaxy 6 Edge, it does have a feature very similar to Moto Display or Ambient Display, and that is the Edge Display. There are also some gestures that you can do with the Edge to get things to pop up, although I found it just as easy to unlock and look at my notifications. I felt the same way about the People Edge feature, where you can set shortcuts to contacts on the edge. I found that there are 50 other ways that you can directly dial or message your contacts that are so much more convenient than using the People Edge feature. And although HTC doesn't have any ambient screen features, the double tap to wake or swipe gestures are definitely a welcome carryover from the M8. And it's a good thing too, because the volume and the power button are on the same side, and they are nearly indistinguishable from one another. I found myself accidentally pressing the volume and power buttons several times during the course of use. Compare that to the Motorola, which has a very textured and very easily distinguishable button, as does the Moto X. The Galaxy S6 solves that problem by simply moving the volume keys to a different side than the power button. I still would like to spend a few more weeks with each device before I make a final decision. It's just that there are a few bizarre design choices that keep me from absolutely falling in love with the M9 or the S6. Things like the ease of use of accessing the dialer and camera by swiping anywhere left to right on the screen of the Nexus, whereas you have to be very specific where you place your finger and swipe on the S6. And even though this may be unique to me and my geographic location, I found that the Motorola phones got significantly better cell reception than both the M9 or the S6. All four of these devices are on Verizon, and the Motorola's held on to LTE almost in every circumstance, whereas the M9, coming in a close second, held on to it most of the time. And I also found that the S6 spent a lot of its time in 3G when I was traveling into more remote areas. Even though the M9 and the S6 are awesome phones in their own right, I still feel like the Nexus 6 is the best phone for me. I don't mind the size at all, and it just seems like the most well-rounded of the devices. It does everything well, although there are a few drawbacks such as the camera, which is in no way comparable to the incredible camera on the S6. And it's not even that the camera on the Nexus 6 is that bad, it's just that the camera on the S6 is that good. I can look past TouchWiz with a custom launcher, although the battery life definitely leaves something to be desired. The HTC is a whole lot like the M8 from last year, and I was a big fan of that phone, so I don't mind it so much at all. The camera really is just okay, but the phone itself is actually pretty good. I just think it's a victim of unfortunate timing being released next to the S6. The Moto X is still a good choice, although it's getting a little bit long in the tooth. I have to say that all in all, these four devices, it's really hard to go wrong no matter which one you choose. And although I personally am leaning toward the Nexus 6, I'm going to give the others a few more weeks to see if that's indeed where I end up. I will be posting my updated impressions soon. I hope that you've all enjoyed the video and that this first look was helpful to you. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.